Hello, I'm back. It's 11:24 p.m. at night. Um, I apologize. I'm sitting here apologizing for something that's not my fault that the stalkers are doing. So I apologize that the stalkers um keep illegally they keep illegally hacking in and turning off or manipulating and hiding the chat. Um but it was very important that and they intentionally trying to sabotage me trying to get help and deliberately and on purpose force me to suffer out in the cold so that they can laugh. And they all worship the devil. They're Satan worshipers. They're a sex trafficking cult, and they're trying to force me to die. They've been making death threats at me. They've been harassing me. I like whatever so-called authorities I contact, they give me the runaround and ignore me and refuse to help. So it's really hard to find new supportive subscribers that will come across my channel, and it's like no way in hell. Like how the hell am I for me to have, well, I know I have physically less than over 35,000 subscribers, but because all the stalkers and all their fake accounts and everything is what make it look like over 35,000. They keep following, subscribing and unsubscribing and resubscribing, unsubscribing and resubscribing on multiple fake new accounts and stuff. Even try to manipulate the numbers of the subscriber count and everything. And I noticed that they've been manipulating my follower account on Twitter as well. So I have about $30 left for the rest of the month. I told y'all that they reduced my Social Security check, and that's why I'm so broke so soon. And plus, I needed to get so many things. The stalkers have been, blocking me from talking or blocking my supporters from interacting, and you know, the the stalkers say stuff like, "We own you" and this and that or whatever, or "We are watching you," and then they lie and say that no one is stalking you, you're schizophrenic. When on one account you say, you know, "We are watching you, we're tracking you, we're doing this to you, we're doing that to you," and then that same person come 5 minutes later and say, "Oh girl, shut up, nobody's harassing you, nobody's stalking you, nobody's following you." So um they trying to silence my voice, they trying to silence me speaking the truth. um Earlier I wrote a regular blog post about my disabilities and everything. I should have put it in the same community post as my short story as well. Um, but I didn't. But it's on my blog, and it was me talking about my disabilities and medical issues and situations, you know. And so I wrote a fiction short story and put it in the most recent community post. And also, like, basically, I wanted y'all to look at the most recent 3 community posts from today. Even the one with me talking about, if y'all haven't seen it, me sharing other people's plus my own blogs and information about, you know, it's other people as well. I shared their links and credited them on the links of, targeted individuals being forced homeless, um, forced into homelessness, and this is sadistic and cruel. Um, to force someone to be homeless. That's a, I mean, as I said, that's an alternative prison. That's an alternative form to be forced into homelessness. I mean, to force someone into homelessness, that ought to be a felony crime. I think to force someone to be homeless, I think the stalkers ought to be criminally charged with attempted murder. Well, they need to be charged with attempted murder for everything that they're doing to us, no matter how big or small, because they're part of the conspiracy. So the stalkers blocked me and hindered me for the past 2 days, trying to let people know that my funds have been running out. Even though I just got paid, but my funds are running out. I mean, and I was forced to have to do a more expensive, slightly more, not very much, but slightly more expensive hotel. Due to the situation that I was in, you know, this was the only hotel that I know of where I can check in early. Excuse me. So I stayed here for a couple of days, and then you know, in certain hotels, I'm not gonna mention the names. That I refrained from going to, because the stalkers kept harassing me there and illegally harassing me there and posting up the location, finding out where I'm at, admitting that they stalked me via microchip or whatever. So that it must explain why, if I have no active phone, like say for example, if my phone get damaged and then I have to go 2 weeks without a phone, during those 2 weeks, and if I have to throw the phone away and do without any phone at all, um, I still have to deal with being gang stalked, harassed, followed, threatened. People following me with one headlight and know where I'm at all times. So whether I have a phone or not, I mean, if I don't have a phone and I'm homeless on the streets, I don't have a laptop, so that would be impossible for me to even have, for me to get on social media and be telling people this, that, or telling people anything. I can't even get on social media if I'm, you know, if I don't have a phone, or even if I don't have access to a library computer. And I can't do videos on a library computer if I don't have any phone or anything. Library computers, they don't have cameras on their phone. I'm sorry, on their computers. They don't have cameras at the library computers. So, well, I'm frightened. I'm scared. I'm glad to be safe tonight. My original plan, I was gonna go to one of the hotels that I switched my mind about. Um, cause one hotel, I'm not gonna say the name. One of the cheaper hotels that I was recently at, where I did 1 week at the hotel, and then they kept on trying to take out extra money and be shady or whatever. I don't trust to go back to that hotel, but I don't want to rule that out. You know, I would still like to have that to fall back on in emergency or whatever, but because of um what they did was shady. I can't trust to I can't trust to go there if they trying to sneak and hack in and take out money whenever they feel like it. They try to take out an extra $50, but thankfully I didn't have enough money in the account, so it declined. I mean, they already took the $50, extra $50 from me. So the first time they took an extra $50 from me, it was a hard fight in the battle to get that $50 back, and then they try to take out $50 extra dollars again. So I mean, I feel like I refuse to deal with that stress and that headache. Um, you know, but some of the Wyndham hotels where I was wrongfully, well, I'm wrongfully permanently banned from all Wyndham hotels, from what I was told. But certain even American English speaking people, I don't know why they act like as if they try to charge my card 7 times, when the money would be already taken out when I would make the reservation. So, but yeah, a couple of the hotels recently I've been having problems at, and trying to take a break away from those hotels, and was forced to have to come somewhere. I didn't say way more expensive. I said slightly more expensive. But over the weekends, just get way more expensive. Um, but I mean, even if I could go to a like cheaper motel, like if anyone can help me out. I mean, the $80 motel that has no deposit. Um, but that's cheaper than some of the hotels that some cheaper than some of the hotels that even have breakfast. I mean, I'm sorry, that's a little bit more. I'm sorry, I was trying to say this more a little bit. It could be slightly more expensive than some of the hotels that have breakfast. So they got me wrongfully permanently banned from seemingly, supposedly all Wyndham hotels. And with Wyndham hotels, I could have racked up free nights much faster. And also, um, I could have racked up free nights much faster. And also, like, at the La Quinta in Metairie on Veterans, like, that hotel used to be, like, they would have moments where it could be like $55 per night and no deposit. But then they recently started charging deposits, and I heard that they be trying to keep your money and stuff. Excuse me. And in certain other hotels, they try to be bogus and try to charge $250 deposit, and then tell lies on purpose to try to justify making excuses, trying to keep your money and everything. You know, like they might lie and say that you were smoking in a non-smoking room. It's like, I don't even smoke, for example. I've heard it happen to other people, but and they try to charge you $250 and falsely accuse you of smoking in a non-smoking room when you don't smoke. And then when you fight for your money back, they call the police on you and try to have you wrongfully permanently banned from the whole corporation. They've done this to other people as well. You know, so I try to get hotels, and also to make it, when I ask for help, I try to make it easier on my supporter subscribers and my small amount of donors as well. Try to not, to try to have to ask for as little as possible. But when I was in Pensacola, like in 2020 through 2022, you know, they used to try to make you pay a $100 deposit for a lot of the hotels. So I would try to look for hotels that did not require a deposit. But sometimes I don't always get to do that. Um, oh My ear's still infected and hurting and everything. So, or sometimes they would try to, charge you double or try to charge you multiple times on your card for the room or whatever, and then they get an attitude with you and then try to call the police on you. It'd be the crooked, shady hotels, not every hotel. It'd be some of the crooked and shady hotels and motels, you know. So, with the stalkers having me wrongfully permanently banned from so many hotels and motels and stuff, I'm extremely limited. And, you know, I'm extremely limited in what hotels I can go to now. I wish that they wouldn't have done that. And they're evil. When you're a targeted individual and trying to report injustice, you get ignored or given the runaround and told the same repetitive, unhelpful advice. You know, like a broken record, and can't get any justice, can't get through to anybody, can't get any help um, with the customer service or whatever. So, um, New Orleans is way bigger than Pensacola, Florida. So, I mean, with the transportation and it's like bigger transportation and way more restaurants and stuff. But I mean, I try as best as I can to avoid Canal Street like the plague. Like I avoid Canal Street, I avoid Bourbon Street. I mostly try to avoid the French Quarter. Period. You know, um, I don't go in the wards or in the hoods. Um, so I find myself like in a hotel or anywhere in the metro area except New Orleans East. I mean, I can't even ride the bus going to New Orleans East because people would have murder on their mind. And I mean, from that bus incident that y'all saw a couple of weeks ago, is prime example of why I cannot go out in the East, or why I don't go out in the East. So, and I was advised by many people to stay away from the hotels and motels on they say stay away from all the hotels and motels on Chef Ventura Highway because of the drugs and prostitution and high crime and murder and whatever else. So I stay away from the wards and I stay away from the out in the East, especially on um, Chef Ventura Highway. So in the hotels and motels, well, downtown is too expensive to stay in the hotels and motels, even though on rare occasions I've had to stay, in one of the hotels before. But, um, I mean, very few times, not many. But I try to get the cheapest hotel or motel that I can afford where I'm welcome at, where I'm not wrongfully banned from, that doesn't require a deposit. And so I either be like on the outskirts of New Orleans, or in the hotel or motel. It's hard to find motels. But when I've got to be on the streets, that homeless sleep spot, that homeless sleep spot is the only spot I know of and that I have left. And they're using that homeless perp to yeah, I'm gonna say demonic dirty homeless perp. They're using him to run me out of the area, but yet I have nowhere else to go. In my homeless experience in Pensacola is different from here in New Orleans. I mean, before they ran me off of every place, um, before they gang stalked and ran me off from every place, every homeless sleep spot in Pensacola. Before then, I had it made as a homeless person in Pensacola. But when that thing started in 2019, I ended up, you know, I mean, I'm sorry, when it started in 2020, I mean, I thought it was just a temporary phase that I would end up going through, but I didn't realize that I would end up in this, permanently having to ask for help, because as I said, like in 2019, you know, I wasn't asking anyone for hotel funds, and I had like certain homeless sleep spots with the shelter overhead that I could protect myself from the rain. And the place would say available for sale, for rent, for lease, whatever, And the police only got bothered one time by the police. Got harassed by the police one time in 2022. But all those years that I stayed in homeless in downtown Pensacola, you know, and I was trying to stay at the shelters, trying to stay at the winter shelter. They wrongfully permanently banned me from, the shelters and all that in Pensacola. But when I would be on the streets, I could have that police officer that told me to stay by the abandoned bank. I got torn up really bad by ants. But you know, but I was able to have shelter overhead to mostly protect me out of the rain. Like I'll say about 80% protection away from the rain. Sometimes I would get a little bit wet. But if I could and I had a job working at the fake dirty YMCA until they gang stalked and lied on me and wrongfully fired and banned me from there. But so for me to, for some reason it would take me like 30 minutes to walk from about 532 West Garden Street all the way to the fake dirty YMCA in downtown Pensacola. And I had a spot where, I had a whole storage unit, but it was far out in a different spot, It was far away from downtown, but downtown I was able to have a sleep spot outside and have my storage unit and go get stuff when I need it, or if I had extra supplies or whatever, have it in a storage unit. And then the stuff that I use every day, I would well, at the YMCA they didn't let us have stuff overnight at the in the lockers, but at UWF campus they did. So when I got wrongfully fired from the job and banned from the YMCA, I was going to UWF campus, and I was able to rent a locker for the whole semester. I don't remember how much it cost, maybe $25 or something, in addition to $100 something for the whole semester to go swim and shower. excuse me, and the stalkers try to get me wrongfully banned from there too. You know, kept trying, and they would have their tactics and everything, and try to, and even made up lies on purpose, hoping that they can get me wrongfully kicked out of and banned, or they would try to do stuff like try to be nosy and snoop through. I mean, try to look through what they think is you know, in my locker, and then tell lies saying I have dangerous weapons, or they will make complaints and say that I got too much stuff in my locker, and they think, oh, she's obviously homeless, let's run her out of here. But that would be my only opportunity to take a shower. I mean, and I was able to pay cash to go swim and shower. But as I said, I don't trust any of these regular gyms like Planet Fitness or whatever, because if I get wrongfully permanently banned from any of these gyms and I can't cancel, I mean, if I'm wrongfully permanently banned from all I'm not, but what if, you know, wrongfully permanently banned from all Planet Fitness locations after getting a membership, and then can't cancel the membership, and they just keep on taking out money every month. You know, bad enough if a person decides that they want to quit. I mean, I heard that gyms give, not just Planet Fitness, but all gyms. I heard that even the YMCA in Pensacola, they had complaints. So if they so if they, you know, decide to quit, and then even the YMCA would do stuff like keep yanking money out of your account every month, even after you wanted to quit. You know, if you felt like you quit and don't want to do it anymore, don't want to go to the gym anymore, you know, and then I heard that people have had to take these gym companies to court and try to sue them, you know. But so that's why I don't trust these gyms that they want to yank money out of your account whenever they feel like it and stuff, you know. But excuse me. So yeah, in 2019, um, after being in Pensacola and having hell with the shelters, soup kitchens, homeless food lines or whatever, you know, I had to resort to eating out at restaurants just about every meal due to the targeting and you know, being wrongfully kicked out of and banned from soup kitchens, from abusive communal narcissist fake volunteers and stuff that's just there for image and for show and for control, you know, not there because they love and care and have compassion in their heart for homeless people. Excuse me, you know. So to be bullied and ganged up on by staff and other homeless and at the soup kitchens or the shelters or whatever. So I just had to deal with everything independently. And in 2019, I never really asked for anybody on YouTube for like, I tried so much to try to stay independent and self-sufficient and stuff, but as I said, once 2020 and all that stuff happened, I didn't realize I would end up being like this. And after dealing with Janet, the fake roommate that was a perp, you know, and after Alex Dupree ran me out of Pensacola, the situation I'm going through I've been like this ever since. But and then the stalkers kept getting me wrongfully permanently banned from this place and that place or whatever. But if the rain was too extreme, or if the rain was too extreme, or if it was too cold, or if there's a hurricane, that's when I would ask for help for hotel or motel room or whatever, you know. But yeah, um the stalkers getting me wrongfully permanently banned from or kicked out of, a gang stalking me out of certain jobs, restaurants, homeless soup kitchens, homeless shelters, um, wherever I go, you know. What am I missing? Restaurants, hotels, motels, libraries, everywhere I go, you know. And they get worse each year. So in 2019, you know, it didn't even cross my mind to ask for donations for a hotel room when I was homeless on the streets in Pensacola. Even at the beginning of 2020, I had the storage unit, the sleeping bag, the homeless sleep spot, homeless hiding spot to hide my stuff, homeless chill spot, homeless potty spot where I go pee. Excuse me, you know. And where they were forced caused me forced diarrhea, you know, and like my social security income, for me to not really have hotel room or anything like that, um it used to stretch me all the way to about the 25th of the month. With me, yeah, eating out at restaurants or whatever, you know, every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you know, and a couple of snacks, maybe a snack or two here and there, or dessert. Not necessarily snack, but dessert. And the meals used to be cheaper. Everything was cheaper. So I would not have to ask for help until the 25th of the month, and then I had a couple of jobs here and there that they either lied on me and wrongfully fired and banned me, or they gang stalked me off the job and forced me to have to quit. You know, so when I say that they gang stalked me out of somewhere, it's like they forced me. They either, when they gang stalk me out of somewhere, it's like they frustrate me to the point of not wanting to come back, you know. Or and then even then, if I'm not banned, I still try to give the place another chance or multiple chances, you know. Or they keep trying to run me off from everywhere. You know, I cannot be like me being a loyal customer somewhere is not appreciated. I don't even have to do anybody anything. Um, I don't even have to bother anybody or do anybody anything, you know, in which I don't. But if I just come every day and have no argument with anybody for like 5 months to a certain cafe, and all of a sudden um, you know, I just get kicked out randomly, and I'm like, wonder what did I do, you know, and then kicked out without any explanation. And then next thing you know, sometimes they won't explain to me, or other times they will falsely accuse me of doing something so bogus that I'm even mind boggled. Like wow, they're falsely accusing me of doing stuff that it wouldn't even cross my mind to do X, Y, Z that they're falsely accusing me of. You know, ooh, it's right at midnight right now. I'm gonna keep talking though. So, for the stalkers to lie on me, the internet stalkers, the YouTube stalkers to lie on me and say that I've been a scammer and a fraud all my life. And for my twin sister to help them tell that lie. But she been scamming me and had manipulating the rest of the family to scam and screw over me and take advantage throughout the years. Taking my money, taking advantage of my money, using me, blackmailing me, and threatening me out of money. Excuse me, yeah. My twin sister used to blackmail and threaten me out of my money back then. And that's how I ended up in financial debt. And then she manipulated the rest of the family to do the same thing to me. Excuse me. So in 2019, um, I never asked for donations for hotel room, but um, one time there was a man that I think he was one of the Pensacola transit, the disabled transit operators. He had his church to pay for a week for me to stay in a motel. So, and that was that Super Six motel where I'm wrongfully permanently banned from. And they said I'm wrongfully permanently banned from the entire corporation. But they said that Super 6 motel is connected with Motel 6. But I have not called up a local Motel 6 to see if I'm also on a do not rent list for every Motel 6 there is in the country or the world or wherever. You know, so, and and I think a time or two from the little job that I had, one of the jobs that I had, I think that I paid for um, my own motel in 2019. And I don't remember how many times that was, but in 2019, I never asked anyone for help with hotel or motel, but it wasn't until after the 25th of the month I would mainly panhandle on the streets and ask for help, with food or and bus fare, laundry, whatever. But I don't recall or remember asking for donations on YouTube in 2019, but excuse me, people in the targeted individual community used to encourage me. Excuse me. They used to encourage me to get a van. I mean, to put. They used to encourage me to put up a GoFundMe and ask for donations to get a van to live in, and then keep moving around and don't stay in the same spot. And then ask for donations and live off of donations. This was before so many people in the TI community sold out. And multiple people in the TI, not everybody, but a lot of people in the TI community in 2019 were homeless and asking for help. Excuse me. And so back in 2019, they had more real TIs on YouTube. Excuse me. And then I was gullible enough to believe that in 2019, I thought that everybody that said that they were a targeted individual was a real targeted individual. But it wasn't until after certain experiences that I realized that there was a such thing as fake targeted individuals. And then after some time, I was told that, you know, that gang stalkers sold their soul to the devil and do satanic rituals, and then later on, I was told by other people that the gang stalkers are after my soul and that they are trying to get me to sell my soul and sell out and become a gang stalker like them. Like, well, I didn't realize until after I experienced it that they're trying to beat me into submission to join their satanic gang stalking cult network, and it's sex trafficking related. So a lot of people say that gang stalking is sex trafficking. I haven't heard about labor, but I heard Kanika Jenkins was both sex trafficked and organ trafficked. And everybody was outraged because they said that she got sacrificed. So Selena Gomez stole Kanika Jenkins' organs for herself. The is she like an actress, a singer, whatever? Selena Gomez. Um, I don't remember. Wasn't she a Disney star or something? Something like that. I don't remember. But whatever happened to Vanessa Hudgens? I don't hear about her no more. But and Demi Lovato, I don't hear about them no more. But I still hear about Selena Gomez. Excuse me. But yeah. Um and then people say Kanika Jenkins was a targeted individual, and they compare her, for some reason, they compare her death to Aaliyah's for some reason. I don't remember exactly how the connection goes, but yeah. Excuse me. But yeah, so I mean, I don't remember what everybody's response was when I told everybody about me getting wrongfully kicked out of and banned from, permanently banned forever, and abused and threatened with jail from Inslee First Baptist Church, that fake winter shelter and the only winter shelter in Pensacola, Florida, that they waited until the coldest day to wrongfully kick me out of and ban me from the shelter. And that abusive narcissistic fake perp Sally was 72 years old and looked like um the I forgot what creepy dead character she looked like. Um Excuse me, but she was 72 years old and a midget and always perping with the red and abusive and highly narcissistic. She was a communal narcissist and demanded control over everything. And and I didn't realize they were all stalkers. Except they had these couple of people that were volunteering. They used to be supportive and nice, but when I told them about Miss Sally's abuse and everybody else, they cut off all contact with me. You know, excuse me. And so they had this excuse me, this other church. I don't remember the name of it. Um, in Pensacola that I used to go to on Tuesdays, and they used to have like a lunch soup kitchen, and and well, that thing happened in 2020, so I mean, I guess they stopped all of that, but I didn't go back. But they stopped a lot of the homeless soup kitchens and stuff when that thing started in 2020 that I can't mention. Excuse me. You know, so like ever since, well, after the situation with renting a room from Janet, I think that was when it originally started. But she showed me this because we were on lockdowns and everything that we couldn't be on the streets. So she kicked me out of her house. I can't say why on here. And then she told me about that Hospitality Inn extended stay hotel, and that was the cheapest hotel in the area, and it was $39 a night or $273 a week, plus I think it was $100 deposit. But you were able to add on more nights, and Miss Annie herself, who she used to love me, but she got hateful and turned against me. And when she became a perp, she became that narcissistic personality came right along with her. Excuse me. And so, but yeah, I thought it was just gonna be something temporary. The fact that with the lockdowns and stuff, we weren't able to be on the streets, and I wrongfully banned from the shelter. So where was I gonna go? So I had, asking for hotel help, and then um, when Alex Dupree ran me out of Pensacola, excuse me, I you know, ended up in Mobile, Alabama, and was homeless on the streets. And the police used to aggressively harass us and threaten us with jail anytime we would be downtown Mobile, Alabama. Most nights they were harassed, but there were a few nights when they didn't harass. But I didn't. Most nights I did not get help, but some nights I did get help. With hotel room off the streets in Mobile, Alabama. Excuse me. Um, but I was. I mean, I mean, I think I still have some of the videos. Either that or the fake Darnell Williams perp illegally got some of those wrongfully taken down. But I have videos about the incident when Alex Dupree ran me out of Pensacola, and you know, excuse me, when he ran me out of Pensacola, and then gang stalked me the next day and followed me. Like, how did he? I was like, I didn't even announce it to anyone, but how did he know that I was booking a Greyhound trip? I'm like, this is insane. And he illegally booked the Greyhound trip and was intentionally doing directed conversation. That was the perp, the elderly perp that would stalk, follow, and harass me and tell me the police got me under surveillance. I really think the fake Darnell Williams perp replaced Alex Dupree. Um, you know, excuse me, and Alex Dupree, he was elderly, but he was also childish. He was immature, you know. And Alex Dupree admitted to being gay and admitted to being a Freemason. He told me the police were all his friends. And it's like, I felt like, what the hell is going on here? That and Alex was working closely with the police. The police were gang stalking me. The online stalkers had been working with the local police. And excuse me, but I never saw the fake Darnell Williams perp. Like, people even say Alex Dupree was another fake, that was a fake name. You know, and I think he was trying to make a mockery out of my last name being Grand Prix. And then I had an ex-boyfriend named Alex Mendez who was a perp. So Alex Dupree calling himself Alex Dupree, you know, um, I really think that that was like fake names to mock me and the ex-boyfriend Alex Mendez from New York. And Alex Mendez, come to find out, was a perp with a narcissistic personality, and try to come into my life in 2022. I mean, trying to re-enter my life in 2022. Excuse me, you know. But I thought that David Jane looked a lot like Alex Mendez. You know, and I thought David Jane was Hispanic also, but David was supposedly Filipino, but David lies about everything. You know, excuse me. So I mean, but yeah, when September 26th, somewhere around there, 2021 was the last time I saw Alex Dupree in person. But he might have been still harassing me online past then. Excuse me, after I got that job. And then I don't know precisely when the fake Darnell Williams perp took over, but that Alex Dupree eventually left me alone, and DJ eventually left me alone. But the fake Stephon Adams perp had been stalking and harassing me since after October, like somewhere probably maybe around December 2020. But Star Bricker had been gang stalking me since October 2019 online. And my twin sister had been a perp throughout since, you know, foster care back in the 90s, but she'd been harassing me on YouTube since October, approximately October 20th, 2020, you know. Excuse me. So, yeah, with all the lockdowns and everything, you know, I had me fighting you know, the lockdowns and curfews and stuff, me fighting to stay off the streets or whatever. But I didn't realize that this would end up being permanent. And then it doesn't help for me to be um, wrongfully permanently banned from certain places and having less sleep spots or whatever. Even in 2021, when I had the job at the fake Seville Quarter, I had it made, you know, where I was able to shower at the YMCA and swim and shower at the YMCA and charge my phone and work at Seville Quarter, but sleeping on the streets and asking no one for anything. With the only exception was when my backpack got stolen. Excuse me. And that was the only time. And then when was, I was staying in the motel for 8 months after that. Um, from about September of 2021 when I had the job all the way through May. It could have been 7 or 8 months. May 2022 with the situation with Trigger. Excuse me. So then, she was a perp posing as a TI and manipulated me to come here to New Orleans metro area, and then she kind of found out she was a perp, and she lied on me and turned everybody against me. So many people in the TI community, excuse me, believed her lies and turned against me, and she's still telling lies on me, you know. So, and working with my twin sister, and so yeah, I was still considered homeless, but I was staying in a motel. But they gang stalked me out of the janitorial temp service job where I was getting paid $72 a day. At first, I was getting paid nearly $100 a day and working um 6 days a week, and excuse me, 8 to 10 hours, probably more than that. My first day working, I think I got paid the most and worked the longest hours, like from maybe about 10 hours or something. I don't remember, like 3 p.m. all the way to about 1 o'clock in the morning. But they reduced my hours once my money started to get comfortable, and I thought I could feel confident enough that I could start looking into maybe trying to get a car. And um, they lowered my hours, and then try to lie to me and say, well, you're such an asset and this and that, whatever, you know. I'm like, well, if I was such a great asset and a good worker, why are you reducing my hours and switching me over somewhere else? If I was the best cleaner, why you reduce my hours? Excuse me. So the gang stalking, they actually planted me by more gang stalkers when it was just about 4 or 5 of us working. But then that black man, I can't remember his name at the moment, but he was the only one that was not a perp. You know, and excuse me, Mr. John Mayo and Miss Brenda, and they had that black lady, can't remember her name at the moment, that wanted me to come live with her, and but she was mean. But and then they had a few other people, you know, and Miss John, I'm sorry, Mr. John and Miss Brenda gang stalked me off the job, and so I was trying to stay as long as possible and trying to not quit. Excuse me, but they gang stalked me off the job, and Mr. John was an obvious perp, and you know, so like when I think it was when the late January, I had to switch to a different motel, and I would have been looking around for jobs. Subway by the beach refused to hire me, and the Waffle House next to the motel didn't want to hire me, and quite a few other places near the beach or whatever didn't want to hire me. I tried Domino's, they didn't want to hire me. So, excuse me. I'm talking about in Pensacola, Florida, 2022. And so, I mean, when the situation with, I mean, well, so from January 2022 and through May, I had consistent help, but people helped me to stay, like, help me with the weekly pay in the hotel plus food, whatever I needed, you know. Excuse me. And then after Trisha sent me for me to come down to New Orleans, and then gang stalked me and lied on me and everything. I lost all my support, everybody, and she practices witchcraft too. And then it took me months to finally get support and help again, and had to. And then they falsely accused me of scamming for a hotel room when it was obvious that it was raining cats and dogs, and I got damn near struck by lightning multiple times in one night. And then so the stalkers lied and said that they owned that property by 532 West Garden Street. And the police wrongfully permanently banned me from that area. I have video footage of that too. And I went by the bay, and they gang stalked me. Other homeless people who were perps, they would make death threats at me, and they gang stalked me away from by the bay. And then also the non-homeless people, I have footage of them doing noise campaigns, and then when I beg and plead for them to turn it down, they pretend to be fake victims and call the police on me, and they gang stalked me out of the area. I almost got wrongfully arrested and thrown in jail. And then they had that other spot where I got wrongfully kicked out of and lied on. That was on West Government Street, and stalkers try to hijack my homeless sleep spot, pretending fake homeless perps. And so, like, everywhere in downtown Pensacola, the stalkers made it more and more dangerous and more unsafe for me to be homeless in downtown Pensacola. And then I realized every space was exhausted, and then I tried to stay at that abandoned bookstore in 2023, the abandoned bookstore by close to UWF campus. The fake Darnell Williams perp, I don't know how he found out where I was at. He called the police and lied and said that he owned that property. He did that on the biological mom Frances' birthday, even though the biological mom Frances was deceased, But on her birthday, he lied on me. He lied and said that he owned that property, and then I have video footage of that too, with the police terrorizing and harassing me. Excuse me. And so I mean, I didn't, and I stayed at a few other places too, but but yeah, he lied and said that he owned that spot. I mean, that he owned that, was the owner of that place. And then on TikTok, before I even logged on, he bragged and laughed and said that was me that called the police, ha ha ha. And then after the police encounter, I saw that that he was making comments before I even could log on to YouTube and tell what happened. And then and I almost got wrongfully arrested and went to jail. He lied and said he owned that property when in the property said available for sale, for lease available or something like that. It was vacant property. And so after all that, I mean, I ended up feeling like, well, I don't have anywhere to be homeless at on the streets in Pensacola, and people are not really helping me with hotel or motel, so I had no choice. But I didn't know where to go. I just went somewhere random in a different city and state, and I had to make a super quick decision because they had a perp bus driver that was abusive and narcissistic and was always trying to get all in my business and try to make a fool out of me and treat me like I'm really, really retarded and lack common sense. And you know, and so the fact that she was trying to get me wrongfully locked up in a mental institution because she tried to demand an answer for where I was leaving to, and I didn't want to tell her, so she tried to get me locked up in a mental institution. And then after that, I just picked a quick random spot. I didn't know where to go. At first I was thinking about somewhere in Arkansas to go to, but I didn't know where to go. I just randomly picked, Cincinnati, Ohio. And I didn't even want to go there, but I feel like I liked it there, but I just hated the weather. I hated the weather, and I hated the up and down hills and everything. I prefer, like, Louisiana. They say they have flat land. You know, I hate places with all those hills and stuff. Slopes and hills and everything. In Pensacola, it wasn't too bad, but North Ninth Avenue. Oh, they had that hill that it was difficult to ride the bike up and down the hill. Excuse me, when I tried to have a bike. But my OCD got worse, where I can't even deal with bike riding because of my OCD and the feeling dirty or whatever. Um, but I mean, yeah, it's really scary. Excuse me, after me being raped for real, in March 2020, that made my OCD flare up again, and it got worse. And in 2019, um, I may have had a little hand sanitizer or whatever, but I wasn't buying like large bottles of rubbing alcohol and sanitizing and spraying and cleaning everything I touched with rubbing alcohol. But I was doing not cleaning, but I mean not spraying, but I used to pour rubbing alcohol like after being raped in 2011 and 2012. I ended up my OCD got worse. But initially my OCD um, started in foster care. Excuse me, from foster care abuse. And the foster mom used to use us as cleanup slaves and everything, and you know, and would traumatize and punish us if stuff wasn't clean enough. Her kind of way. That's how the OCD started. You know, but then as I got a certain age, sometimes my OCD would get better, and then if I get raped, then it get way worse, and then um, you know, excuse me, but I heard that being raped a lot of the times has something to do with the sex trafficking and the gang stalking. Um, and And I'm glad I have not had it happen to me in a long time, that men will offer me to prostitute. But I never got raped from a time when a man will offer me to prostitute. And every time they offer me to prostitute, I will always decline. Never accept. Never accept. You know, well, the last time someone offered me to prostitute was, I was still in Pensacola, but there was a point in time it would happen to me all the time. You know, but yeah, I never accepted a prostitution offer. And one time in 2019, no, yeah, after I shortly after I moved to Pensacola, then I came back to New Orleans to get all my stuff out the storage unit and transfer it to Pensacola. Um, then excuse me. One time in July 2019, I was in Harvey on the expressway, not far from the DMV office, and they had a man. I was walking. I think that was when I was sick, and then forced to have to walk like 3 or 4 hours all the way from the West Jeff Hospital in Marrero all the way to um where the Econo Lodge in Gretna is, where when it was Century Inn Motel. Ooh, they got high pitched ring in my right ear, and then I have the swollen lymph node right here. My ear is still swollen and hurting and infected. Feels like it's gonna pop. And then I also have an what trying to be a boil or a cyst or something right here or whatever. But yeah, my ear is still, I mean, infected. So excuse me. So I mean, yeah. So I never scammed anyone. I don't even have the skills to manipulate and scam someone like that. Like the stalkers keep lying and saying, but the stalkers, they tell lies on me and they want me destroyed. And they're mad at me for not being part of their fake satanic Luciferian cult. But as I said, if I'm wrongfully permanently banned from these places, what's the point of selling out? If What's the point of selling out if that will not unban me? Because that would be like, oh, y'all scam me out of my soul spiritually. And this is what they're trying to do. And so, you know, certain professed targeted individuals have been tired of the torture and stalking and harassment, and unfortunately caved in and became perps. But I'm gonna die never being a gang stalker. You know, so I don't know if it's my imagination or if I'm if my hair is starting to get thinner, or I hope I'm not losing my hair. But like, I know my hair got ruined on this side, but on this side, I don't know if it's my imagination or if it's starting to get thinner, or I hope I ain't going bald. And even like up in here, it seems like it's thinner and not exactly bald, but like, you know. But then I had that hair product that I wish I could turn back the hands of time. I wish I would have never used it. But that hair conditioner, that it seemed like it permanently changed my hair, permanently ruined my hair. or permanently change the texture or something, you know. Um, and it seems like water and oil doesn't even seem like it saturates through my hair anymore. Now it seems like water will sit on my hair and not even penetrate through my hair like it used to. But anyway, so yeah, in 2018 was the same way as 2019, but in 2018 I was not doing any YouTube videos, and but I mean I would be independent with have to eat out every day, and then after I became homeless, but by the 25th of the month I would have to beg and panhandle. But it's strange because if I had a low income place to live when I was living in Los Angeles, even Denton, Texas, you know, where I would get paid the SSI and the Social Security check, excuse me, pay my bills, and buy things that I need, and then, you know, get the government assistance or whatever, and I would be broke financially by the 5th of the month. I get paid on the 3rd and then broke by the 5th of the month, but have mostly everything I need. And then by the 25th of the month, I would end up using the last $3.25 for the month on laundry, and then have no money until the next month of the 3rd of the month, and then the cycle would, you know, it would continue, every month. But, it's a nightmare to be in a predicament where I have to be forced to have to ask for help, having nowhere to go. But in 2019, as I said, being on the streets, and I had a sleeping bag, but I never, ever, ever, being homeless, I never had a tent. Never had a tent, and with my OCD and complex PTSD and dealing with being unsafe, being targeted, we cannot be around a lot of, we can't be in crowds or around a lot of people, or like if I'm homeless, I cannot be around a lot of other homeless because they be gang stalkers that be trying to sell you out or try to set you up. And it's been dangerous underneath the bridge. And with my OCD and being in the complex PTSD, excuse me, I'm traumatized and terrified of sleeping underneath the bridge. And then dealing with other people that gonna hurt me or steal from me or do whatever to me. I try to be as much as alone as possible, but then they plant gang stalkers around me, homeless or not, that will try to run me out of what area where I'm homeless on the streets at. And if I had a tent, where would I put it? And I mean, like downtown Pensacola, the ground was it was still dirty, but it was much cleaner than downtown New Orleans. Downtown New Orleans is, a bigger city, you know, and I did not know that I could not be homeless in Gretna. That was my first attempt at trying to stay by a vacant or an abandoned house or a house for sale or whatever. And I did not know. And when the stalkers lied on me to the police and said that they owned the property, and then they had perps planted in jail and everything, I figured I knew it was a gang stalking setup. So the fact that it happened before, and I knew it was a gang stalking setup, and that was one of the reasons why. I mean, at first I was really confused, and then I figured, oh, it's a gang stalking setup, so that's one of the reasons why I wasn't really compliant with the cops. Because I figured, oh, this is a gang stalking setup. They playing games, you know. So that's when I started filming and recording, because I'm like, oh, this is a gang stalking setup again. So for me to actually go to jail, I was shocked. And it's like, what did I do wrong? I'm like, wait a minute. I've been at other places that said for sale or for lease or whatever. But I did not realize that the laws were different. I didn't realize that the laws were different, you know, in Louisiana from Florida when it comes. I mean, I'm sitting here in survival mode. I didn't even have the opportunity to think of, oh, how to find out, oh, look where the laws were or whatever, you know. I'm just sitting here in basic survival mode. When the stalkers got me wrongfully banned from by the old Gretna Ferry, and then I stayed by that house for 3 nights, and multiple cops and gang stalkers passed by and said absolutely nothing. So I figured, in both the fake Aquarian Doris perp and the fake Darnell Williams perp, they both lied and said, ha ha ha, that was me that made that call, and said, yeah, you know. And then they'd be like, oh, Candy, don't forget we own you. Excuse me. But I keep fighting and I keep resisting. Like, if I'm, you know, identify with being Christian, why should I let my guard down and just let these satanic bastards control me? You know, so this is what I guess what people are saying is spiritual warfare. So I keep fighting back. Keep fighting back and keep resisting, keep resisting. But oh, they do not flee. You resist, I mean, you know, I forgot what Bible scripture, is it James 4:7 in the Bible? I hope I'm right, but some scripture in the Bible that says, resist the devil and he will flee. But I keep rejecting them, they keep coming back with vengeance, with more vengeance, you know. My ear. But my ear. Oh, make me almost want to scream. But, you know, so yeah, oh man, my ear. It's like the pressure is increasing. And it's swollen too. Like my whole right side, my ear. And I've been taking the bentonite clay every day. I don't know if I should take it twice every day until I'm healed. And so I also got me my amazing grass, hoping that hoping that it would heal. Hoping that my ear would heal. It's almost 1 o'clock. So yeah, for me to have to be out on the streets and out in the cold and freezing cold and maybe out in the rain too, with no shelter overhead. Um, I end up losing rest, losing sleep, and they say that makes your immune system weak. So I guess that's what's making it harder to you know, to heal this ear infection or whatever, you know. Um, but if I was at a hotel where the shower water is much hotter, then that could get rid of the swelling and inflammation in my ear. But last night I found the hair dryer and try to use the hair dryer. Um, you know, but I kept trying to say that I wish I had enough support where, like it was in 2021 and 2022 where, well, motels and extended stays are no longer prices like 365, and people were even saying then, oh, that's too much money, or 335 a week. But now they're double pretty much. Um, the stalkers got me wrongfully banned from the $400 a week hotels and motels, but the $450 place, they try to scam me and try to take out extra. And then they, on top of that, they charge a $100 deposit and try to take out 50 more, and then keep on trying to take out more and more money. Um, so that cheaper price, then they try to find slick ways to you know, yank out money out of your account whenever they feel like it. You know, yank out unauthorized money whenever they feel like it. But at that hotel, um, I have enough points where if I pay, if I use 6,000 points plus $51, um, you know, that could be a reduced night. But then the average night be $60, I guess, plus tax. But it would have been $51 a flat fee. But um, but then they want to charge you a $50 deposit, even if you got the free night. They still charge you a $50 deposit. But the fake Econo hotels, you know, if I wasn't banned, then I could have had, you know, a free night with the 8,000 points. A free night. Or 600 points plus $17 or something like that, you know. So now I have to work my way up to earning more points in order to get free nights at whatever some of these other hotels, and it's going to take me longer, you know. So, but yeah, but I don't know if there's any other hotel. I don't even have $51 right now. I got maybe somewhere around 30. I don't know exactly the amount. Um, but that $30 was gonna be used towards meals. I'm gonna say later on today since it's Friday already. Um, you know, maybe dinner or today, and then breakfast tomorrow, Saturday, or um, I don't know. But I'm broke for the rest of the month. But the YouTube payout it's supposed to be this month for December. I heard it's supposed to be $60 less, not more, but less than the payment I got last month. So but for now I have mostly everything I need. Um but I don't even know if I had a jar of coconut oil could and was consuming like 2 spoonfuls a day, would that help speed up the healing of the ear infection too? I don't know. Well, I mean, it has helped in the past, you know. And also, I discovered that if I can take the coconut oil, 2 spoonfuls a day, that can clear up my mucus in my throat and stuff too. And but I don't get to have the luxury to have the coconut oil, or the convenience or the luxury to have the coconut oil, and then I have to deal with it getting all over my belongings and melting and stuff like that, you know. Excuse me. You know, so yeah, I discovered in summer 2023 when I was staying in a cabin. I oh yeah, after those 2 months in Cincinnati, I struggled with being on the streets, and I was staying at the airport there. Someone suggested I stay at the airport, and not every night, but and then I had someone consistently helping me, and then he turned out to stop helping me with the extended stay hotel, you know. But I had certain nights where I would be on the streets and be harassed and threatened on the streets, and I would be freezing cold in 20-degree weather in Cincinnati, Ohio for 2 months. Then I had the cabin um, from April 2023 all the way through September 1st, and then I had the from September 1st to October 3rd, I had the that apartment, and then from October 3rd all the way until now, I have been back homeless ever since, homeless on the streets ever since then. But even when I was staying in the cabin and when I was staying at with the motels and hotels, I was still considered homeless. You know, I try to seek homeless services. I mean, and then being around other homeless people, even at the day centers, is dangerous. And homeless people trying to put their hands on you, trying to fight you, be argumentative. Some of them just have an attitude for no reason at all when you try to be friendly. So it's like you never know what mood these homeless people will be in, you know. Excuse me, but if I have a moment when I'm having a bad day and I yell at somebody that's innocent, I feel bad about it, and then I come and apologize to them later. You know, if I'm just in the middle of having like a Tourette's outburst or whatever, you know. Um, but it doesn't happen. I mean, you know, I don't have it often where I yell at an innocent person, but sometimes if I might be in the heat of the moment of being upset and mad and can't control myself or whatever. But as I say, after I calm down, I try to apologize to that person and, you know, tell them, I feel really bad. I'm so sorry that I yelled at you, and then I might be like, well, I was having such a rough day and this happened, that happened, whatever, you know. So excuse me. But I mean, I don't walk around every day with a bad attitude. Most of the days I start off in a normal mood, but they have had certain moments where I would go to bed angry and then wake up upset the next day, you know, or wake up full of anxiety or whatever. but most of the time I don't wake up angry. I, you know, but and like most of the time I'm in a normal mood until the stalkers get me agitated and riled up, and then you see me cussing people out, and then people falsely make it like I'm being an unreasonable, mentally unhinged Karen, and that's not the case, you know. And there's, I mean, excuse me, I did a video trying to question about what I can do for a solution to my homeless situation and my disabilities and traumatic situations make everything harder. Um, and then the fact that they sleep deprive me so much, you know, it's hard for me to function. But I mean, I mean, it would be nice if I could have a camper or something to sleep in and be unbothered. But I mean, but I'm afraid if I had a camper, I'm afraid I might be claustrophobic. Um, but I mean, if I had a camper or a tiny house, it's like I don't even care as long as it's clean, you know, and nobody, and if I can have peace and quiet, and you know, like the peace and quiet that I have now, thankfully, you know, if it can be like this every night, and I had a permanent place to live, or every day and every night, and I wouldn't even have to worry about the you know, fighting with neighbors or whatever, you know. But I myself am clueless on what is a solution. I mean, I had the solution and got me a place, and the stalkers, and I said I was not gonna make the stalk. I mean, I'm sorry. I said I was gonna not gonna let the stalkers make me back on the streets again, and then, you know, it happened way sooner than I thought. So I come to a conclusion to realize that, you know, I cannot get to stay anywhere for long. That the sleep spot that I have now, they're trying to run me off from that area, and I don't have anywhere else to go when I gotta be on the streets. Or if I go to a restaurant frequently and for a long time, you know, they find ways to perk me out of that restaurant and for me to not go there no more. Or it can happen with hotels, restaurants, on the streets, libraries, whatever, you know, everywhere. Malls. And the stalkers trying to get me wrongfully permanently banned from everywhere by telling lies on me and thinking it's funny. So I think I did, but I should have asked in the beginning of the video. I should have asked, excuse me, I should have asked if I mean, for as much help as possible for hotel or motel. If people could picture the help for hotel or motel off the streets, hotel and motel plus food. So on my hygiene and supplies and stuff, I'm, I mean, I'm stocked up and good on everything. Um, but I was low on everything, and except one thing, I need to get some more natural salt. I've been using that more like a supplement, and I've been interchangeably using the natural salt or the bentonite clay or a combination of both to brush my teeth. I no longer use regular toothpaste, you know, and I try as much as I can to use natural products, or but I'm homeless, so I cannot eat natural anymore. But I do not wear deodorant anymore like I used to, and I don't have many people complaining that I stink. Um, I don't use deodorant that much, and I guess I don't perspire as much as I used to, and so I don't use deodorant anymore, and I try to use the natural soap, like the natural soap that contains certain essential oils and stuff. I don't even use the cheap, like I don't even use like Dial soap anymore really. Dove soap does not lather for me. It does not help my skin get softer. But before I became homeless, I've been using these natural products. So, these internet strangers whose face I can't see think they got the fake authority to try to police and control what hygiene products they think I should be using. And for me to use essential oil soap or to be natural, they think, oh, she's just trying to get this expensive, fancy, high end brand of this and that. You know, um, but I had been using this, certain soap before I even became homeless. And as I said, I've been used, it's multiple uses for it. I use the same soap to wash myself. I can use it to clean surfaces. I use it to do my laundry, wash my hair, you know, multi-purpose. And then it can help to reduce pests. You know, so I mean, and then you know, it can be come in handy for me to have a habit of using the essential oil soap in case the perps try to set me up with bed bugs or something. Then if I'm already using the essential oil soap, it can help me get rid of the bed bugs naturally and faster. But well, with me being homeless on the streets, I seldom use the coconut oil much because of the coconut oil, you know, getting messy all over my belongings. But when I had a place, I would use the coconut oil, you know. But yeah, being homeless on the streets, I don't get to use the coconut oil that much. And the last time I tried to use the coconut oil, you know, the jar it broke. So I think that was the last time I had coconut oil. And so it's been months since I used the coconut oil. And the coconut oil could help this ear infection, and it could help clear the mucus. But I guess as long as I'm taking it, it can help clear, But but there was a point in time I would be brushing my teeth with coconut oil, but I'm not using it. I mean, I haven't been using the coconut oil, but I've been using the bentonite clay. I feel like, well, that's something. I mean, so I can't go wrong with that. So I've been using the bentonite clay to brush my teeth with, and I've been doing that for a long time. And so, I mean, the, I mean, so I mean, Like in 2018 and 19, as I said, I didn't have to ask nobody for nothing. Most of the month, I was more independent, but I don't. I mean, I'm sitting here trying to analyze and trying to figure out how and why I'm in a predicament where I'm forced to have to ask for help, you know. But as I said, instead of people helping me out, people they just want to give suggestions on how to survive homeless rather than helping dig me out of my situation. But the stalkers will make sure you stay down and cut off all your support, tell lies on purpose to make people hate you. And I'm feeling scared of having to be back on the streets tomorrow. I mean, if I would have got the full 900 something dollars, excuse me, I could have I probably could have had like 5 more hotel nights with my own money without having to ask nobody, and then end up suffering back on the streets after some time. But yeah, I mean, I don't even have any storage unit anymore. I don't know of anywhere in New Orleans where I can hide my belongings. Um, I thought I would have had it made if I could have stayed by that house, and I didn't know it was illegal. You know, as I said, I stayed by, and I've seen even, excuse me, I'm not gonna say where, but in Metairie, a couple of weeks ago, I saw a homeless person stand by an abandoned bank or a vacant bank, and it said for sale, whatever. And I saw other homeless people stay at places that say for sale, for lease, whatever, available. So I was really confused when I got arrested and went to jail. But I figured the online stalkers, had something to do with it. The online stalkers, they don't own that property themselves, but then people try to yell at me and say, "Stay off other people's property." And I figured that was a gang stalking script. But I was treated worse than a murderer when I got wrongfully arrested and taken to jail and had a bad public defender and everything. You know, that was also a satanic perp with a narcissistic personality. And he tried to bully and threaten me to not take the case to trial. And then I forgot that being an American citizen, that I had a right to take the case to trial and defend myself. So they screwed, and then they took all that money away from me. And not caring about and not feeling any compassion on my circumstance and my situation. I wasn't even thinking of I want to commit a crime. I'm just like homeless and in survival mode and don't know what to do or where to go. And unintentionally made a wrong turn. And I wasn't expecting that at all. You know, that caught me off guard and caught me by surprise. But that homeless perp that's trying to run me out of the area, um, I don't know if he will hurt or kill me. And I don't have if I gotta be on the streets, I don't have anywhere else to go or anywhere else that I know of to go. But I'm afraid to go anywhere in New Orleans or Jefferson Parish and go to, say for an example, an abandoned old place where Rite Aid used to be, for example. I'm afraid that if I might go there and then get arrested again for trespassing. Like, they have this place in Gretna on Stump Boulevard, used to be Rallies. for years, but now it's vacant. But I think if it rained, it wouldn't be enough shelter overhead. I would still get very wet. But if I try to stay there, I'm afraid. I mean, I'm afraid to try to stay there because I'm afraid of you know, going to jail. But as I said, I see other homeless people stand by places that said vacant, for sale, for lease, available for rent and stuff like that, and police don't bother them. So for me to be wrongfully kicked everywhere I go is trespassing. So I have a limit on places I could go, and it's like making it harder for me to survive and exist. And the stalkers are trying to coerce me to go to jail or be institutionalized, and I don't deserve this at all. And if I stand up to the stalkers and defend myself, oh, that's another entire corporation of business that I'm wrongfully permanently banned from. Say, for example, if I get wrongfully permanently banned from a Shake Shack location, and then, oh, I'm wrongfully permanent, and I say, oh, look, you're gang stalking me, and show the video, and then I'm, told that I'm trespassed and banned from all Shake Shack locations, the whole corporation, or any business associated with Shake Shack. I'm just using that for an example. I'm not banned from any Shake Shack. But I don't like Shake Shack food anyway. The one time I tried it, I was disappointed and thought it was so nasty. Maybe I should give it another try, but I don't know. But the place was overpriced and nasty. So not here. So yeah, it was overpriced and nasty. Anyway, but so yeah, like if you but I don't know, it's like when it comes to bigger corporations, like if I were to get wrongfully kicked out of and banned from a McDonald's, it would be just that McDonald's, but not all McDonald's across the world or something like that. But I guess it depends. But like I'm wrongfully permanently banned from the Bodacious in Pensacola, Florida, and one in Milwaukee, and wrongfully permanently banned from every Everman co-op store, you know, in Pensacola, Florida, and I don't know if they're building anywhere else, but both locations I'm wrongfully banned from forever, just for being homeless and for being targeted. And I mean, like, well, what if I would have got back on my feet and, you know, I mean, they didn't have Trader Joe's and Whole Foods in Pensacola, Florida. And so if I would have gotten to go to Everman, I think that I could have, even though it cost way more money, I probably could have eaten healthier. I probably could have got to eat healthier and lose weight. But, or been more motivated. But I don't get the opportunity. Me being homeless and broke all the time, I don't get the opportunity to get to go to Trader Joe's and Whole Foods like I wish I could, like I want to. Um, you know, But as I said, the stalkers illegally tracking my location everywhere I am, and getting worse with the stalking and harassment. They have to be driven by demons to do this. Illegally stalking and tracking my every move and having me wrongfully permanently banned from entire corporations and nearly everywhere. Like, for it's like impossible for me to exist everywhere. I mean, everywhere I go. And that's why I was reading yesterday that the gang stalking network expect you to suffer the torture and abuse that they expect you to suffer in silence. So I wish I could talk longer. It's 1:20 a.m. in the morning, and um, I'm gonna ask again. I need emergency help with It's gonna be cold. It's cold right now, and it's gonna be cold again. My phone says it's 49 degrees. They say it's supposed to get down to like 44 degrees or something. 2 nights in a row, and it's supposed to rain, and then it's supposed to have wishy-washy weather for like the next week or so. So it begins this month that I'm gonna end up having to ask for help every day. Um, and the stalkers are threatening my social security, threatening my income, threatening everything. You know, in the gang stalking network, they want us to be penniless. I mean, it's hard. This ear infection alone is torture. But now abusive narcs who pretend to be ignorant, they'll yell at me and and the stalkers will try to make it like Candy just wants something luxury. And that's not true. I mean, as I said, it's not about luxury, it's about me trying to take care of myself naturally, but I don't, now that I'm homeless and poor, I don't get to do that all the time. But then if I go to eat Wendy's, the TI community people will yell at me and talk about me eating crap food, and they tell me that I need to eat. Being targeted, we need to take care of ourselves and our health naturally. But being forced homeless, you don't get to do that all the time. And being poor, you don't get to have the money to take care of yourself naturally. But I'm gonna get off here. Thanks for listening to me. I wish I could talk longer, but keep me in y'all prayers in Jesus' name. They're trying to take my soul and they're trying to take my life. They're trying to murder me. And as I said, I'm never going to sell out. That is a promise to myself and everyone else.